I'm sorry, Dan. I do nothing. I'm going to need a breakdown
I thought,
of.
I thought my audio playback wasn't on yet.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Drinky Tony.
I'm so thirsty.
You're supposed to say I'm Tony.
Oh, I'm Tony. Well, I am thirsty, though. Like, you set it up, and I just was yes-anding.
Oh, yes.
Actually, that was more of just a yes. Wasn't really an and. I'm rusty.
You rarely and, Tony. Mostly just
I don't
yes.
like to and. I like status quo. You know, I'll agree with you, and that's about as far as I'm willing to go.
Yes, then listen to my point. That's usually what it is. That's how our show works.
I've done some yes buts. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, that's serious. On this show, we watch a movie, then we talk about the movie. This week, I got to pick the movie, and I was like, I'm going to do this one movie, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do another movie, and the movie I decided to do was Conan the Barbarian, 2011, Jason Momoa, 3D Spectacular.
Was this released in 3D?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wish I would have watched it in 3D.
It couldn't have hurt it.
Well, I mean, it also, when would they have really used the 3D? I guess the octopus monster would have been 3D.
Octopus monster. There's the one scene where the guy gets dragged behind the cart into a boulder. I would have liked to have seen that. Was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
The human catapult, I bet that something in that would have happened three-dimensionally, right?
That's true. They human catapulted that guy. I think it was a trebuchet, but you could say catapult.
I'm sorry. I've never heard of the word trebuchet, so I'm not going to be using it on this podcast.
I think a catapult's usually like a fixed thing where you pull it back and it goes boink, but a trebuchet uses a weight that goes whoop and spins around.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the difference.
To me, both catapults.
And a ballista is a giant thing that shoots arrows. It's like a giant crossbow.
Yeah, I know that
ballista.
from video games.
Oh, do you have ballistas in your video games?
Civilization, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
for sure, you got to build up some of those along with your military troops and then, go crush some people. Bah, 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 bah.
So, yes, Conan 2011 3D. We did not watch it in 3D because...
Yeah, what a bummer. Conan in 2D, so much worse.
Hour and 52 minutes. Game of Thrones came out in 2011.
So the same year.
Same year as this, and Jason Momoa.
Interesting.
Both.
So I wonder when each of them filmed.
So it seems like he gets cast before. We only know Jason from Game of Thrones initially, right?
Yeah, that surprises me. I assumed this was based off of Khal, but Khal Drogo, I believe is his name.
Khal Drogo. Sure.
Is it Khal?
Sure.
I don't know. Game of Thrones, but maybe it's not. Maybe this somehow. Maybe he went to the audition on the same day because they're basically the same part, and they're just like, "Great, we like you for this and this. We'll just sign you up."
Yeah, because he sort of. Sometimes you look at him and you're like, "I don't see the look," and then sometimes you look at him and you're like, "Oh, there's the look."
Sure, yeah. Not a lot under the surface. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
This movie was in, nightmare, turnaround hell, spent 10 years at Warner Brothers, and
sure.
Brett Ratner was involved, and just just like a million different real names, were involved in this. And then we ended up with a couple of who knows this people.
Sure.
I guess I think it was 10 years at, I think it was Warner Brothers, and then they switched to $1 million a year, to lock it down. So you'd have to give the rights holders.
Okay, I was like, who do they give that money to? I
assume it's the Robert E. Howard estate, right?
Okay, sure. You ever read those books, by the way? Yeah, me neither.
I read some of them maybe when I was young. Not Conan, maybe some of the John Carter of Mars. Then I picked up a John Carter of Mars one, and it did not get far.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not as good at reading as I used to be. And sure. I'm old.
I like reading, but I'll just tell you right now, I've been reading the same book for 4 months.
That's a while.
It's a long time. Also, I haven't read it in about 3 weeks, and then I'll every once in a while I'll just be like, oh shit, I haven't read in a while. I guess I'll read a chapter, and then just one chapter, and then I'm like, okay, that was nice, and now I'll do it again in a couple weeks. I don't know what's going on.
But do you remember what's going on in the book?
No, definitely not. I always have to once when I start reading, I'm like, oh wait, what was going on? So then I kind of skim a little bit, and then I read the chapter, and then I'm like, okay, that's great. Now I'm back, and then I just don't do it for a while. I don't know. I got real problems.
It's kind of like, like we were talking, whatever. We did that one movie where then you left. So I watched half of the movie. Oh, I think it was Free Jack. And then you left and I looked at my notes. I couldn't decipher them. And that's where my brain is, it all within 4 or 5 days, it's just gone.
Just mush.
The other person that was up for Conan was Kellen Lutz.
Who got Hercules?
Who did that terrible Hercules movie.
Oh, when did that come out? Was that the same time?
I don't know. But thinking back on it, that Kellen Lutz Hercules movie, it was a better movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think I liked Kellen Lutz better. You know what I mean? So they made the right choice. They just made a worse movie. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so The Legend of Hercules came out in 2014, so it was a couple years after this one came. So they were able to watch this and be like, okay, well, we're not doing that. Let's fix everything wrong. Okay.
They at least, those guys had a chance to learn from all of Conan's mistakes. And I don't know if I'd say all of Conan's mistakes. I would just say the 3 mistakes they made, because that's about it, right?
All right, what do you got?
The movie?
Yeah, what mistakes?
That's it.
The whole movie. That's the mistake. I don't know if that counts. That's a little too big.
I mean, if I was going to say the 3 mistakes of this movie, just randomly going anywhere for no real reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
Not to have Conan ever have any companionship whatsoever for the most part.
What are you talking about? He has sex.
No, but I mean, oh, look at Tony's so proud of his joke. He had sex. I'm laughing.
Crushed it.
It always feels like there's no interaction, right? There's no push and pull. There's just, I rode a horse here and then I did a thing. There's no obstacles really to what he does.
Not just to piggyback on that real quickly. So he fights the bad guy. We'll go more depth.
At the end, you mean?
At the end, there's like a second to last battle where Conan gets the shit kicked out of him, right? Yeah. Just gets destroyed. They jump off the thing, they get on the boat, and the first thing is like, I gotta go back and fight that guy. Without learning any lessons, without training at all. He's just like, I'm just gonna go back and this time I'm gonna kick some ass. That doesn't make any sense. What is the difference between that fight and the next fight? There's no difference.
No.
He would lose twice in a row. That's end of story. He lost. He's dead. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's at the beginning, he's like, he has to do this thing and he kills all these guys and he comes back and then Dad's like, now I'll train you to fight. You're like,
right.
wait a second.
I think he's doing okay, Daddy.
He's really good. He's really, really good at this.
He decapitated 4 or 5 men, something like that.
I think it was 5, yeah.
5. I mean, yeah, he
only brought back 3 of the heads, but...
Well, 2 of them he put on a pike as a warning. It's fine.
He ate those with them.
Well, you get hungry during fighting. He's a growing boy. He's got to get his proteins.
So we start with lots of talking. The Dark Empire of Ashran, the Mask of Bones, which gives you magic bones power.
Why is Morgan Freeman giving the story? He's not in the movie.
Because they had an extra $1 million. They were like, how can we waste $1 million today? Hire Morgan Freeman.
I kept waiting for him to show up, to be a part of the story. Who is he to tell me the story? Is he God? I don't understand. He's not even in the world. It's very strange to me. I didn't like that choice at all.
You know who they had in one of the Arnold Schwarzenegger ones? They had Wilt Chamberlain.
The basketball player? Cool.
He plays the sexy princess's bodyguard. He's gigantic.
Well, that's true. He is big. Kind of like how they're doing Reacher. Are you watching Reacher yet?
No, we talked about this last time.
You said you stopped.
Yeah, I watched 3 of them. I'll probably watch some more.
But
I don't get dude. Oh yeah, that dude is big.
I'm sure they had to search far and wide to find someone that makes him look small. You don't just make Reacher look small, but that guy is hulking. and I love
It's like in wrestling, they have that guy, the Big Show. And he's
it.
just
Oh
like,
yeah,
that guy here is like, oh my God, that guy's so fucking big.
yeah, it's great. It's always fun.
So we have a mask of bones, which they then break apart and spread across the world. And we're like, well, there's your plot. You got to put together the mask of bones, and you're going to be able to do something with it. First interaction with people, they've finished the mask of bones.
Well, yeah, I mean, they only needed one last piece. It's pretty nice. It's pretty easy. I was confused. I mean, honestly, I'm confused by all of it. I don't know what the mask does. I don't know who they're sacrificing for the mask. I don't know why they had to break the mask. I get confused on all of it. But my biggest confusion is, didn't they scatter it around their one land?
They gave one piece to each of the barbarian tribes.
Right. Yes. So like each tribe's just kind of spread out in this land. But then when he comes to Conan, Conan's like, well, the rest of the land is going to rise up. But aren't they already dead then?
No.
Is everybody dead?
No.
I don't understand what's happening.
They all joined him. All the barbarian tribes joined him because he has all those guys there. Remember at one point he's in the room and there's like 4 or 5 guys in there. And sure. I think each of them was
those
in
are
charge
just different
of one of the
tribe
barbarian
leaders.
That's what I think.
Okay. All right.
That was the feeling I got.
Okay. Great.
So
I don't understand.
So it seems like this about that, but what it's really about is the bad dude's wife got killed by somebody because she could do something, and so he wants to bring her back from the dead, and he can only do that with the mask and then the correct pure girl.
Right. And, obviously it's a bummer when your wife gets murdered, right?
Yeah.
But isn't it cool that he's able to bring her back to life in a woman who's like 8 times hotter than his original wife? I mean, that worked out pretty good for this guy.
Did you think she was really hot?
Oh, yeah. So she is in, and now we're going to get into some weird territory. She's in Star Trek, and she plays Gamora's roommate, and she's a green girl. She's green, and big crush on her.
Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek, the movie with Chris Pine.
Oh, she's in Star Trek, the movie.
Yeah, she plays the green girl.
The green girl.
Gamora, she's barely in it, Dan. You got to go watch the movie.
Isn't Gamora the character in
I'm saying, yeah, you're absolutely right. Gamora is from Marvel. What is Zoe Saldana? Is that her real name?
Yeah, she plays Zoe Saldana.
She plays
Green friend?
Uhura.
That's Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, exactly. So her roommate in Star Trek.
What are you talking about?
Jesus Christ.
So you're saying that the girl in Conan plays the roommate of Zoe Saldana in Star Trek.
In Star Trek, yes.
And she's green?
Yeah,
she's green in Star Trek.
Yeah, she hooks up with Chris Pine, and then she goes and dies because she's on one of the other ships, and they all blow up. So anyhow, this is a big crush on her.
This is like a 30-second character.
That's what I'm telling you. It's very small, but that was it. That was enough.
You like green people and blue people, don't you, Tony?
I do. Yeah, I like the aliens. Yeah, but only when they're like very human. You know what I mean? Like, but green and blues and reds. It's all very sexy.
Oh my god!
Anyhow,
such a weirdo. Okay, so each tribe kept the shard. Hyperborean age. A child is born of battle. Oh, then we get this terrible scene of Conan's mom giving birth to him.
This is the only good scene in the movie. It made me laugh so hard, Dan. But sorry, continue. Tell the people what happened.
So she's fighting, and then she's like, "Oh, here comes the baby," and then Ron Perlman walks over. Ron doesn't ever seem like he's of the time Perlman.
No, sure doesn't.
And she's like dying, and she's like, I'm not going to have time to see the baby before I die. And he's like, well, then give me your knife and I'll cut you open so you can see the baby, and then I'll watch you die.
He just C-sections her on the battlefield. That's crazy. And then he just takes the baby out and gives it to her. It is so wild. And then he does he Lion Kings it and just lifts up the baby and screams, and we're just staring at it. But it's It's possibly the weirdest scene in a movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's bizarre.
This movie can be gruesome at times, but
For sure.
there's no fun to any of the gruesomeness.
Not
right?
after this first scene, no.
Sort of set you up. You're like, battle side C-sections. You're like,
Right. You think you know what you're getting into, and you're like, okay, this is going to be a ride. And then it's kind of not. They just kind of let it down. That's the most fun I had the whole movie.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. His name is Conan. There it is. Then they live in a village by the river that has one building which has a water wheel, but the rest of it's just kind of tents.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
You get a little bit of the Willow vibe on the town. I got a little Willow vibe.
Oh, Willow's great though. So
Okay.
I still maintain that I thoroughly enjoy Willow.
Well, it's pretty fun. At least they have fun. I mean, I
100%.
can't handle the snowball scene. That was a bridge too far. Bridge too far. Snowball.
Sure. They barely crossed the line. Good for them.
So Conan is a rambunctious parkour youth, parkouring all over the place, gets there. What the kids have to do, all the youngins, if they want to go on the battle
tell me what
raid,
they're doing. Yeah.
they got to put an quail egg in their mouth.
Yeah.
And they got to run over the mountain without breaking the egg.
That's really it?
Yeah.
I really thought there was something else going on because they immediately get attacked. So I thought maybe that was part of... I got very confused.
I don't think they expected to be attacked in the mountains by the tiger people.
Did you say dino people?
Tiger. I think they're tiger people.
They're tiger people. I thought they were dinosaurs. I don't know.
Well, they could be dinosaur people also.
Who are they?
They're one of the other barbarian tribes, but they're even more barbarous.
I don't...
Because instead of speaking, they roar.
They roar. But not human roars. It's not like a human was on set going, roar. Like they put in sound effects of dinosaurs when they open their mouths.
I love
Which is very confusing.
It was so weird. It was such a stupid choice, but you're just like, well, they committed to it. They just kept doing it.
Yeah, they went for it. So you made a choice and you stuck with it. Good for you. But you should rethink it.
So most of the kids are all like, yeah, dino people, we're going back, going to go around the other way. But Conan's like, I'm going to win because I'm the bro. And then he stabs them in the legs and stabs them in the feet and cuts off their heads. And he kills like 5 guys pretty handily.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then when he fights his dad, he's terrible at fighting in the next scene.
Oh, is he?
I'm confused by it all.
Yeah, so he gets back and he wins, and the dad's like, he's that's the other thing is, he has to be like a disappointment. You have to have some dynamic. His dad's just like, you're great, Conan. I'm teaching you to fight. I'm making you a sword. You're great.
Yeah, I didn't understand the vibe of their relationship, to be honest. If he comes back and he's killed a bunch of dudes, you either have to be like proud. You have to make a decision, right? You can be proud, scared, like, oh, this kid's something's wrong with this kid, or like, I don't know. I don't know. But
do you want me to fix it on the day?
Can you please fix it because it's driving me crazy?
It's pretty simple.
All right,
he comes back. The egg's broken.
And so he still gets yelled at.
He fucked up. You fucked up.
Yeah, because he spits out. He's like, I held the egg in my mouth the whole time while I was murdering 5 adult men.
No, it should have been broken. And the dad was like, you didn't follow the brief.
That's
the
great.
brief is the brief, right? Killing 5 guys.
Now that's something I can get behind. A father being disappointed, even when you do a great job. That's great. This is confusing. I don't know what's going on.
Then he trains him how to not break the egg or something. He gives him some real training. He's like,
instead,
this is what he says to you, Conan, you are a great fighter, but you do not pay attention to details. Boom. Then we have a movie.
Which is kind of what he says, because he's like, you're all fire, and you need the balance of fire and ice. But I didn't understand why he needed the ice, because the fire just killed 5 dudes, adult dudes.
Because
he's doing fine.
That's the movie, is he has to learn to be ice.
And when does he do that?
Not in this movie, but that's what you have to put in. Yeah.
In my head, you were telling me that's what happens in this movie. I was like, Dan, you watched the wrong film, because that doesn't happen at all.
That's what happened to Kellen Lutz in the Hercules movie.
Great. Yeah,
They taught him to be
After
ice.
they watched it, they're like, "Oh, okay, I see what you were thinking you were gonna do.
Got it.
Let's do that for real."
Yeah, no,
God.
and that's what this movie needed. It needed for him to, you got to stop running into the burning building. You gotta pick up a hose and put it out. Whatever it is, he needed to learn a lesson. And then when he fought the bad guy at the end,
The first time
he figured it out.
He makes a mistake, and then when he goes back, he learns from his lesson. But that's not what happens in this movie. What happens in this movie is just like, let me try that again. Let me try it again and do the exact same thing, and this time it works.
We need more spinning wheels and things like that, and that's the problem. My big issue is the spinning wheels.
It's
unstable ground. I need to find an unstable ground.
Yeah, could I have some granite under my feet, please? This is bullshit.
Unstable. He's an unstable ground.
Oh, he's an unstable guy. I see what you're saying. Well, he was on sand the first time. That's hard.
Sand.
It's hard to run in sand. I don't know if you've ever tried.
He got poisoned too. Whatever came of that.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's a bunch of cheaters.
He blew up a small amount of oil, and that did something.
That was too much. The bad guy screams and screams at that. He's very upset.
You blew up oil that's over here that doesn't block my path directly to you.
Well, it's his own personal crude oil. You see,
I was gonna use that for my big ship that gets pulled along for an unknowable reason.
By elephants? Is that what's happening? The elephants are porting the ship for him? Like, what's going on?
Were there elephants? I don't remember.
I swear to God, there were elephants under that ship at one point. I don't know, man. This movie's weird.
I want some of what you're having. Okay, bad guys comes back. 3 heads, 1 egg. That should have got mad at him. Why'd you only bring back 3 heads? You killed 5 guys. Bring back 5 heads. Fuck.
5 guys.
Dad's gonna make him a sword. Sword's gotta bend. Fire or ice. You gotta learn. You gotta do fire and ice. Now I'm gonna teach you to fight, but he doesn't teach him. He just teaches him. I don't know. He didn't teach him anything.
He didn't teach him. He taught him how to stab ice and sink it. Is that a move?
Yeah. So the bad guys attack their village.
Yeah.
They attack from all directions. They overwhelm them easily.
Yeah.
These guys don't know what's happening. They don't know it's terrible. They got to have a scout come back and say, "Oh, there's guys coming," and we have to realize that this is a lost cause, right?
Yeah. Great.
No, we don't. We just have a big battle.
Yeah, well, a big messy battle. There's not the choreography of the fights is very disappointing to me. And I don't totally understand it. There's a point in this battle where Conan is screaming, "Dad!" and the dad is screaming, "Conan!" but they're apparently nowhere near each other.
Don't know. Can't tell.
That's what I'm saying. Like, eventually he finds his dad in a hut. And I thought they were like calling to each other to draw each other together. And then Conan would see his dad get shot with an arrow. And then it'd be emotional. That doesn't happen. They're apparently on opposite sides just yelling. I don't understand what's going on.
Can you imagine if Conan poisoned the bad guy to death at the end?
Yeah, nice. That would be great. Nice little cool. Full circle. Or he uses his dad's trick ice, because his dad cuts the ice and then he falls down into the frozen lake. And at the end, he cuts the bridge and the guy falls into the abyss.
Yeah.
But that's not what he was supposed to learn from the dad. He was supposed to learn something about fire and ice, not bridges. I don't know.
So they've got dad trapped. He's got the little evil daughter. It's kind of hot.
Not as an adult though.
Yeah, she's hot as an adult. She's creepy.
Rose McGowan, really?
She's all right.
And you don't like the purebred? No, purebred's not the right word. What is it? Pure blood. Purebred's like a horse.
Very boring.
Well, imagine her green. That fixes everything.
There it is. Problem solved.
Told you. Yeah.
Any woman, just paint her green. That's solved.
Or man, it's not a gender thing, Dan. I just think people are more attractive when they're interesting.
Oh my god. Okay, so she finds the thing. Boom. Conan attacks, slices off a guy's nose. That's a good move.
Yeah, that was cool, and I'm glad they brought him back and had some fun with it. I have a question on the daughter. Why does she have talons? What's that all about?
They're knives. They come off.
Yeah, the little Freddy Krueger things.
Yeah, so she can be
I don't-
creepy.
Creepy, sure. She doesn't
Yeah.
really seem to know how to use them very well in battle.
She's just clicking. Well, she's not a warrior.
She's not?
No, she's
What
a witch.
is she?
She's a witch. They call her a witch right at the beginning.
Burn her! Sure.
Yeah, she's a witch,
Yeah,
like her
I don't
mom.
know.
But she's not as good a witch as her mom for unspecified reasons and reasons we don't
because
understand.
the dad is very disappointed
Ooh,
in her.
you
Unlike
suck.
Conan's dad.
Who's
Honestly,
who's
this
too
movie should
into
almost
him.
be about her, right? She has the character arc.
She does. She has a good character arc. I like her. She's hot. So they burn Dad with they put molten metal over him,
Right.
and then he has to hold a chain. What it is that in one of the old Sergio Leone westerns, the one kid, his dad is hung by the neck, right?
Yeah.
And then the kid is like, I don't remember what he was holding exactly, but the kid's basically trying to keep his dad alive.
Sure.
And then
Which
when
is
in the middle of the
intense.
desert, getting hot, and then the kid falls down and the dad dies, right? And
well,
this
that's
is
a sad end to that story.
yes, and that's
All right.
that's the whole point. Is then this, as an adult, he's Charles Bronson. He wants to find the guy that did this and shoot him in the face. At
Sure.
the end of the movie, he shoots him in the face. But
Classic.
this whole thing, it didn't feel like the kid was going through an ordeal of trying to keep the dad alive.
Because I think it's because the kid probably didn't understand how the contraption worked. Because I, as an adult, also don't understand how this contraption worked.
Nope.
I feel like it would be relatively easy to not be in the way of the bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just a step to the side and then I pour it out very slowly, and I think it would miss me for the most part. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
So you think you could have worked this? This was a trap.
Sure.
Because you're watching it, and you're like, is he getting hit by the metal, or is he not getting hit earlier? And then at a certain point, I think his whole face gets burnt off. Is that
well,
because
he does it to himself at the end. He's like, Conan, you have to
he
run.
does it to
I'm going to
himself.
sacrifice myself, and then he just tries to drink it, and it's tough.
Yeah. So I think they needed to set up a tension and then have the kid, holding on to the, there's a giant sword right above him, and the kid's holding it, and he's like, that's your dad's sword. It's going to poke him in the head. We're all going to leave because we know you can't do it because you suck.
Right. But they do leave.
Yeah.
And then the dad's just like, I'm done. I'm over this shit.
Yeah. It doesn't want to wait. It's like, we Sumerians, we don't like waiting. Just take death.
We don't enjoy the waiting game. All right.
Death over waiting. I agree.
I get it. That's like the DMV,
And I don't. Did they steal Conan's sword, or did they steal the dad's sword?
I think they stole the dad's sword.
Of.
They are identical swords, from what I can tell. I have no.
Okay.
I can't tell the difference between them. I swear they hold them up. At one point, Conan holds both of them, I think, and I'm like, well, that's just a replica sword. I don't know. Maybe that's my fault. Attention to detail is not great, but I do believe they steal the dad's sword, because at the end, Rose McGowan's like, it's the sword of a fallen Sumerian, so it has to be the dad.
Okay. He grows up. He thieves. He pirates. He barbarians, and then
No. What he does, Dan, is he lives, he loves, and he slays.
No, that's not what they say.
That's what he says to the lady.
He says that
point.
later, but he also at one point he doesn't say it now.
But that's his life motto, and I just think we need to bring attention to that.
I wrote that down later when that said to. It's so stupid. But he does say wandering, thieving. He does say slaying.
He loves to slay.
So
he's a slay king.
There's a slave colony that's at the bottom of this hill. He and his friends drop rocks on them, and
Time out. Dan, those are huge boulders.
Yes.
How did they get them into the perfect places around the mountain?
Okay.
Because they can't lift those boulders up.
Well, Conan can. But I'm going to tell you a story.
You think so? I didn't see it.
I'm telling you a story.
Oh, tell me a story.
When I was a kid, there was a movie called The Swiss Family Robinson, right?
Yeah.
They get shipwrecked. Did you see the old Disney one from the 60s?
No.
They get shipwrecked. They build the greatest tree house, which they have the tree house at, for many years they had at Disneyland until they turned it into Tarzan's tree house because they're idiots.
Well, Tarzan is newer.
they know that there's bad pirates out there.
Yeah.
So they go on the top of the hill and they make it ready for the pirates. They haul logs up there and put them behind things so that they can cut the things, and then hundreds of logs go.
Sure.
And they set up this whole, they, have bombs and they have guns and they have, bells. So they set it all up. That's what they're trying to do with this thing, but it doesn't make any sense because how would you set that up above these people's place?
Exactly. So the difference is the pirates will be coming into port, and then they spring the trap. These people are already there. So how did they spend weeks rolling giant boulders above them, and nobody seemed to, they're just like, I wonder what these guys are doing with all these rocks. It's so weird. They're so stupid. It's not possible. It didn't happen.
And why did they do this, Tony?
I have no idea. Oh, is it the 3D thing? That's I
For
forgot already.
They did it for 3D. That's why they did it.
And see, the reason why it doesn't make sense to us because we watched it in 2D. If we watched it in 3D, we're like, I get it. I totally get it.
For the spectacle of it.
Oh, dang
it. So terrible. So they go down there. Lots of very sexy. See, like all these girls, much sexier than the main girl in this movie.
Okay. I listened. I can't. She's green. So anyhow, we got to talk about this next scene that happened.
Once you go green, so sexy girls, they have sex with them, and then
this is what we have to talk about real quick. They're like rock stars in this. Like Conan and his buddy are rock stars. As soon as these ladies see them, they're like throwing themselves at them.
I'm going to tell you something. I'll give you.
You can tell me another story about your childhood.
I'll give you $1,000 cash if you could tell me the name of his buddy.
No, I want $1,000 so badly, Dan. I have no idea.
I have no idea, and I pay attention to these things. His buddy is so not named in this movie. It's crazy. And his buddy so doesn't do anything in this movie.
He doesn't do anything. He's like nice to him every once in a while. That's it. And he gets to yell, "Wake up!" when they get attacked on the ship. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
I don't. Hold on. Do we really not know his name?
I wrote it.
I'm about to look it up.
What I do, Tony, is when the people say their names the first time, I write it in my notes.
Write them down.
Then I underline it. I underline it. You know how many names I have underlined in this thing? None.
None? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like something like that.
Dan, hold on.
Yeah, I'm holding on.
Marik, Tamar,
Ukafa.
No, that's one of the bad guys.
Oh, I don't know.
Because that's not like the friendly guy, I don't think.
The one guy with all the face tattoos and the bad teeth, they say his name 200 times. He's the one character whose name they say again and again and again and again in the course of like 5 minutes. It's amazing.
Oh, I found him. Okay, it's Artus is his name. Artus. $1,000, please, Stan. You didn't give me a time limit. Hey!
You failed. You failed the test.
I'm sorry. I should have. I wish I would have had that locked and loaded. Can you imagine your face if I would have shot that right back at you immediately?
But you see, I know you. You don't know any characters' names.
I don't. You're right about that.
You're terrible.
I only know Conan from this movie.
Yeah, you don't even know the girl's name.
I cheated now, so now I do know it. But I did. If you would have asked me before I looked at the IMDb, I would not have known it.
It is. I think it is the same name as the girl from the other Conan movie. Actually, the second Conan the Conqueror,
like the Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
I haven't seen those since I was a kid.
Oh, they're great movies.
I almost watched it this morning. Oh, Dan, we got a sidebar real quick. I got to tell you a story about what happened this morning.
Hold on. Let me guess. You watched the movie on Peacock last night, then you went to watch it this morning on Peacock, and it was no longer there.
How did you do the same thing?
No, because I saw the thing when I went to just watch, and it said leaving tomorrow, and I was like, "Oh
man!"
This one I said to myself.
Read that.
I said to myself, I could tell Tony this, and I was like, I'll let him experience it.
Well, I did. I woke up at 6 a.m. today to finish this movie, and I'm searching. I typed in the whole name on Peacock because I was like, what is going on? This movie won't come up. And I Googled, I was like, it's gone. So I had to go spend $4 on this movie, and I didn't even want to finish it. I was so mad this morning.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me. So I force fed myself this movie yesterday, so I didn't have to
Smart.
spend $4.
Yeah, that was a good move.
I stopped once, and then Peacock just like, I lose my mind, so you have to start over again, and then you have to do 4.5 minutes of commercials. I ended up doing 4.5 minutes of commercials like 2 times, and then I had to do like 9 minutes of commercials like once or twice because I was
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had an extra
brutal.
20 minutes of commercials that I had to deal with this stupid movie.
This was not a great experience. Just top to bottom, this was not a great experience.
Peacock is not a great experience. You should just, once you log those commercials, you should be allowed to go where you want in the movie.
Should be done. Yeah, like I already did it for this title. Fuck you. Stop making me do it every time.
Okay, so they go to this other place. They're having fun with the women. Then he sees the noseless guy who was part of the people that messed with his dad. So he's all like, finally, I got a lead. There's this other dude who is a thief, and they're looking for him.
Yeah, I don't know this guy at all. I don't like him.
Conan kills everyone and then tortures No-Nose. How does he torture No-Nose?
He picks his nose.
He sticks his finger in the hole
in his nose hole. Oh man,
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool. And this actor was like so game. Like he does the whining very, very well. I would have cast him as well. He did a great job. I really liked him.
He's like, you got to go. You got to go to the Forbidden Forest, and then he says some word Gorgomula, and then they're all looking for the girl. So we find out that the bad guy is looking for the girl. Now Conan knows what the plot is. Then Conan
and we sort of do. I'm kind of figured it out. You know what I mean? But I still don't understand why.
He's bringing back his wife because she's a powerful necromancer.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess, but here's why I'm confused.
Yeah,
the pure blood girl.
Yeah.
Is the descendant of the most powerful necromancer ever, they said, or something like that.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Why is everybody a necromancer? Is that the only magic in this world?
Well, the truth of the matter is, why would you be a purebred necromancer, right?
Great.
Shouldn't you be pure of something better than that?
Right,
something pure. Necromancer blood got to be pretty dirty.
It's gotta be all muddy. Yeah, I don't know. It's all very confusing. It's all very confusing. Yeah. It's great. I really like this movie a lot.
Got to go through forest. Yeah.
Did you finish this scene yet? The end of the scene.
So what he does was the dude was like, "I'll tell you everything. Just don't kill me." And Conan's like, "Cool." And then Conan at the end's like sticks a key down his throat. And then he drags him outside, and he's like, "Hey, everybody! If you want to be free, the key's inside of this asshole."
Which is funny.
Yeah, it's good.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, so you have the only key to free everyone around your neck at all times, which is a terrible choice.
Seems unlikely.
But so he tears it off and he puts it in the guy's mouth, and then he pours water or some sort of liquid in his mouth.
Castor oil.
Is that what it is?
No.
Why would that make him swallow the key? I put food in my mouth and then drink water and keep the food in my mouth all the time.
Why do you keep the food in your mouth with water?
Because sometimes it just happened last night. So let's say it's a buffalo wing. All right. And I've taken a lot. I like to skin the whole thing first. I take the whole buffalo wing and I chew it up. And then I'm like, my mouth's on fire. So I cool it down with some water, but I keep the chicken in my mouth because I'm not done chewing the chicken. And then I'll chew it up and I'll swallow and it's less hot. But regardless, my point is,
Tony, that's not how normal people eat.
But just putting liquid in his mouth isn't going to force him to swallow a solid object in his mouth. That's all I'm saying.
You're set for this.
I'm very talented. Okay, I can put a lot of different things in my mouth and handle it no problem.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I just thought it was weird.
Okay, there we go. Boom. We go to the palace. We meet the woman that they're going to come for. Whatever. In the forest. So
they're monks?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I mean, I I guess I'm getting in the weeds of the particulars of this movie. I just really didn't understand the world building.
Oh, because they just use words, right? These guys
Okay,
don't seem
sure.
like monks. This doesn't seem like a thing where there's monks. We don't know what all these hot women that aren't pure are doing there. We don't understand any of it.
The impure monks, yeah, I don't
Right?
know what's going on.
Like if I was going to do it, I would have like this. You'd have this big thing at the top of a cliff that actually had 100 monks, and then there was one woman that was there. Right?
Great.
Isn't that what
Yep.
you do?
Sure, I
You'd
love
have a
it.
bunch of monks there, and then they'd be like, "Oh, we got to protect." Like why do they got to protect this stupid girl?
And why are there other girls? And they're not protecting those girls? Are they decoys? Is this like a Princess Amidala situation? You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on.
Say what you want about the first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 1. It made sense, right? We understood.
I will say a lot of things because, again, I'm sure we talked about it. I like them just as much as I like the originals.
Oh, and that's the thing is, they're dopey and weird at times. There's too much Senate stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
But, give me the Trade Federation any day. These guys,
Amen.
I fucking love the Trade Federation. These characters are hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't like the stupid beep robots because they're like so incompetent and dopey, but
they are, but they make for a great video game bad guy because you can just run them down and you're not like, am I killing clones? Am I murdering people right now? Because that's the problem with stormtroopers, right? They're human. So we just make them real robots and we fix that whole situation.
See, and there was just a little bit the goofiness of those first three, which then turns into like the biggest darkness ever in the third one. You're just like, you didn't really set us up for killing the younglings and having all of his arms and legs cut off. You're just like, this is pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's very fun because it kind of comes, if you didn't know, which you probably knew going into, but like your kid, you don't know, and you're like, what is going on right now?
If you saw those movies in the 1 through 9, you would just be like, this guy's arms and legs are cut off, and he's lying in the middle of a lava flow. You're like, I'd
be a bad guy too after that. You know what I mean?
And just think about how 1,000 times more colorful that is than anything that happens in this sad Conan movie.
Yeah.
And that's George Lucas not doing his greatest work. Jar Jar Binks.
Good old Jar Jar.
Okay. We meet the caravan. They've got this big caravan. Soldiers. They have a boat which is on wheels. And you were like, well, at some point, they're going to push that into the ocean and then it's going to boat. Nope. We abandoned that boat. We never see it again at some point.
I would argue that boat's never been in the water, Dan, because there's no water line on the boat. It's wood. It's a wooden ship, and I just have to believe there would be a water line of some sort.
Where are the barnacles?
You ask sarcastically, but that's a great question. I watch Below Deck all the time, and they're constantly jumping in and cleaning the bottom to get all those barnacles off. You got to keep that thing clean.
Okay, so he's on the ship with his buddy. Oh, Artis. Was that his name? His buddy's name?
Yeah,
Artis?
yeah,
I wrote
yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
I found this is the first point I wish they really say his down.
All right.
And then he's all like, okay, I know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to go alone. He goes to the desert and army is arrived. The army gets somewhere. Okay, so then the bad guys get to the place where the monks are, start killing everyone. Tamara, that's the girl, right?
That's that's the lady.
They sneak her out of town, and then we have this crazy scene where Conan's on the road, then she's on the road, and then the bad guys attack, and then he's trying to grab her or kill them, and everyone just fights and fights and fights, and there's people get dragged. Oh, this is when the guy gets dragged into the boulder. Yeah. Conan punches
and explodes, which is cool.
Conan punched horses with a giant chain. That was very weird.
Yeah.
And then there's one big bad guy left, and then he just leaves.
Yeah, well, he runs away, right? He's like, if you face me, I don't remember what if you run away, I'll chase you down. Something stupid. I don't know. There's some dialogue here that is inconsequential.
He runs away. We cut back to where the princess is, And the witch doctor or princess she tastes all the people and is all like, oh, nope, she's not here. And then we find out about the mom dying on the wheel. And then he beats this one monk to death against the ground. This movie is very graphic and very grisly in a weird, unsatisfying way.
Yeah, definitely that. Well, because there's not a lot of catharsis at the end.
They like to have the bad guys inflict pain on ostensibly the good guys. They're more.
Yeah, but I don't care about these good guys, so it's a problem.
So here's the bad guy is Remo, the guy that just fled. He then has time to talk to the girl, put the girl on a horse with him, and chase down the bad guy.
Yeah, and what's weird is, I swear he catches up to the guy, grabs something from him, and then slows down to throw it at him.
Oh, is that what happens?
Is that the order of events in this little chase scene? Because I wrote it down that way, and I was very confused on why he would just, if you're next to him, just kill him. I don't know why you would steal something, slow down, and then throw it at him. I don't know.
He knocks the bad guy out, and then the girl's like, "You will take me to Hyrconia." And I'm just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know where that is. I don't know why she wants to go there.
Why you're going? Like, what's there? What is your journey, lady?
And what's her offer to him?
Did she have one?
No.
I thought she just said do it, and he was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And she's like, do it. And he's like, nah. And then that was about it.
Well, then he ties her up so she can't leave.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right.
We cut back to the bad guy. This is the point at which the daughter's like, I can do what mom did. And dad's like, no, you suck.
Now, is she... You know,
they having sex?
Is she trying?
There's a little implication there. That
There's some tension there. And the dad's
weird.
Like, nah, you're never going to be her. And I was like, is she offering herself? What's happening right now?
They should have done that. That would have been weird. And this is a movie that would have done that. It was weird
either way, because you're in this limbo where it's like, is she advancing on him? Has it happened? I don't know what their relationship is, but he's definitely the bad guy.
Now, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, of course I watched Game of Thrones. Everybody watched Game of Thrones.
When you get to the Moondor people and the mom breastfeeds the adult child.
Yeah.
We're all sitting there going like, this.
What is happening? Who wrote this shit? What is going on? Yeah.
It's like, what's his name has some problems, and he's never finishing those books anyways.
He's never going to finish this book.
Which is pretty hilarious.
Though, would you finish it? I wouldn't. So many people were mad with the way the show ended that I'd be like, no one's going to be happy with the ending, so fuck you. I'm not going to finish it.
Of course I'd finish it. I would. Well, I mean, if he has the ideas, just finish it.
He doesn't.
If he doesn't have the ideas, then don't finish it. But if you have the ideas, then, contract with somebody, work with somebody, and get it done. Who cares?
I don't know. I disagree. I'm all, people not liking my art it hurts me to my soul.
Oh, so you want to punish everyone? That is a Tony thing. I'll show them. Right. It's going to the grave with me. It'll never be finished.
I'm on my deathbed, middle fingers out, and be like, "Good luck finishing the books, idiots!" And then I die. Cry about it one more time.
Okay, Remo wakes up and he's like, "Oh, they're not going to come here. They're going to go this other place." And so he's like, "Okay, I'll go there." He goes there, takes the trebuchet, throws Remo's body, it hits the boat. I'm like, that's a good shot. He reassembles the trebuchet, which is laying in pieces, just like,
right.
It's like
things break
toys.
Perfectly. Generally, when things get shattered, you can just put them right back together and they work, no problem.
It's really terrible.
And also, like, what an amazing shot. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And inside his mouth, there's a note, and the note is like, "Come alone to this place for us to fight." Okay.
I wouldn't go alone.
Yeah, that's true. Why would you expect that he could control that situation?
Yeah, not. Oh, I wrote him a note, so he's definitely going to do it. He's definitely going to play by the rules because it was a note.
There was a note. No. There was a note. Implicit in the note was you got to follow the rules.
The rules. If you're not going to follow them, just don't come.
The next necromancer meeting, they're going to be like, "You didn't follow the rules. You're out, bro."
Yeah, you're out of here, guy. You can't follow simple directions.
So he goes there, and so he's set up. The bad guy comes with bag of gold, and then they summon with magic the parkour sad warriors. Can they live? Can you kill a parkour? How do you kill a parkour sad warrior?
Well, I guess the question is this the same two warriors over and over, or are there hundreds of them?
There's like about 8 of them, and you just have to kill those 8, and you kill them through normal ways of hitting them with a sword.
Okay,
or,
so
or
I
knocking
wasn't
them down.
sure if when they shatter, they're dead, or
They're
if they
dead.
just go back to sand and have to, come back together.
Nope, there's like a final crackening where they're dead, and you're done with them.
The final crackening. That's a good movie title. I'm so confused. I guess I'm just thinking of I don't know, because they come out of the sand, but then they're independent of the sand, so they're not still
tied to the sand,
right? Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange. Because she's a necromancer, right? What does sand creatures have to do with necromancy?
She probably just found a bottle of them.
Oh, okay. That clears it up. You're right. Silly question. That's on me.
I kind of liked them. They went on too long. They didn't have
sure.
any. They didn't have any real rules. Just at a certain point, you could kill them, or if they fell down, they died.
Yep.
They
didn't really have cool sand powers, which was what I was expecting.
You think back on the Mummy.
I was thinking of the Mummy and Sandman from Spider-Man. Those are the two things where I was like, these are not either of them. Where are the rules?
But they kind of look good.
Yeah, fine.
They're okay.
I bet they'd look great in 3D.
There it is, 3D. That's what we needed. She poisons Conan, and so they're losing, and so he blows up some oil, and then they jumped into the ocean. Did you know the ocean? Did you know they were next to the ocean?
No, I didn't know they were next to the ocean, but they run to the edge of this cliff, and his friend, Artus or whatever his name is sees them and is like, "Jump, idiots!" or something weird, and then they jump. Why is that cut in there? They're gonna jump either way. It's so weird, very strange.
And you really don't you don't really feel like there's a way that Hollywood shoots those jumps. And this one didn't feel like they shot it that way.
Well, it also, generally, when two people run to the edge of a cliff, there's a moment where they're like, wow, we're going to die if we jump. We're going to die if we stay. I guess we have to jump. And then they jump nervously. This was more just like, oh, hey, it's the ocean. We should just jump. And then they do. It's missing the element that makes that dramatic. No.
Even if we've seen it a million times, you can still feel that it didn't have the
right. Yeah, 100%. Because here's the thing: I can see that exact same scenario a million times over. I know I'm not jumping. I will die at the hands of whoever's behind me. I'm not jumping. That's the scariest moment of your life: is that free fall into not knowing if you're going to live or die. No, thank you. I'll take a certain death over that.
And that's what should have happened there. The girl should have been like, "Oh no." And Conan's like, we gotta jump, and Conan jumps, and then she's like, and she gets grabbed because she's a cowardly woman.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexism in this movie, by the way.
There's a lot of it.
It's really weird.
Okay, so our guys, wait, what's happening here?
Well, they jumped in. Now they're on the boat.
They're on the boat, and then the bad guys attack the boat.
How do the bad guys get to the boat? Do they also jump?
No one knows.
Do they just swim?
They had another
There
boat.
doesn't seem to be a second ship. I didn't see one outside. I don't know if you did.
You mean it when they snuck up on them at night, and then when the battle occurs, it's during the day?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's like a big giant guy, and they battle, and then our guys win, and they go, yay!
When did Pirates come out? 2003? Something like that?
Oh,
this
probably.
is like the exact same scene when they're like, men to the boats, not to the boats. And then they crawl into the sea and then come up and sneak, and then they're doing the huzzah after they win. I don't know. It felt very similar, but just so much worse that the whole time I was like, I'm going to watch Pirates tonight.
You go watch that Pirates movie, and you're like, yep, still good.
Perfect movie.
You think you're going to be like, it's probably faded with time.
Perfect blockbuster.
No.
I love blockbusters. I really do.
When when that ship sinks and then he steps off the dock, you're like, someone has made a good decision.
Character introduction of all time, hands down.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll ever have a better character
Well,
introduction
that or
than that.
Terminator 2, Schwarzenegger coming up butt naked. That's pretty cool too. I do love that. Walks into the bar, beating the shit. Yeah, that's good. Those are the two that come to mind for me. I don't know.
Walks into that police station, goes back out, gets a car, drives it. You know, you're like, what happened to our James Cameron?
Well, he's making some real good stuff on Avatar.
Oh, we're gonna have this boat and it's gonna be tilted over. We're gonna have a 45-minute fight.
Oh, can't wait for the next one. Let's go, Sully. Woo!
Okay, Conan gets off the boat. The girl goes with him.
Mm-hmm.
Takes him a map. Then they go and have. Is there a plan? I don't know. Then that's when he says, "I slay." So they have sex. Yeah. Then the next morning, does she ditch him, or is she just wandering in the forest randomly?
That's a great question that this movie doesn't answer. They're just like, she's got to be outside. Who gives a shit? Yeah, it's very confusing. I don't know why she's out there, what she's doing, where she's going. I have a terrible idea. Not good at all.
So she gets grabbed by the bad guy, and who's going to take her to this other city. Conan has time to go to another city to find the guy with the one eye that he saved from his
thief friend. Yeah.
And then the thief friend is able to take him back to the secret place where they've taken her somehow. Gone to another city, right? Walk to Portland. Yeah. And then walk back to Los Angeles in the time this guy took to do. He didn't do anything in this time.
Well, because they're carrying a prisoner, so they're twice as slow.
Much slower, because she's like going like this.
Yeah, she's fighting or something. Yeah, it's real tough, real hard stuff.
So they go in there and then they fight like one tiny snake in the water, and I was like, well, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Aha. They get in the dungeon, and here's the big tentacles battle. Talk about the big tentacles battle, Tony.
Again, super disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. Did you like it?
It was better than most of the movie.
Well, okay. So if we're looking at Conan as the bar itself, we're ignoring everything else ever made in the history of time. This was the better. This is where they spent all of their $60 million or whatever the budget is.
Close to 100.
Oh wow!
This is the baseline, and then this battle's right here. You're like, here's Conan.
We did it.
Most of the rest of the movie way down here, but this I was like, at least it was a tentacle monster, and it was it's kind of weird. The one guy's like he pulls chains and moves people up and down, and if you'd have ever established it, you just think about the amount of jeopardy that you have in the Star Wars trash compactor scene.
Yeah.
This thing has 10 times more special effects, goes on 10 times longer, and has 1/10 of the amount of jeopardy that
I think that's generous. 1/10 is very generous. I don't know.
And
but I'll tell you right now, Dan, somewhere, what's his name? Marcus Nispel. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong.
Marcus Nispel.
That's the director. He's listening to this podcast and he's like, finally someone gets it. Somebody gets it. How good this scene was in this movie. He's so excited that someone finally thought it was decent.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't understand the end. Can you walk me through this? Because his friend is getting swallowed in the cage. Not swallowed, but like wrapped up.
He opens the top.
Whatever.
He opens the top of the cage and he crawls out the top.
Is that all that happens?
Yeah.
Because couldn't you have done that at any time? If the top just opened, I thought maybe it fell and the hinge broke.
No.
Okay. I thought I missed something.
He just helps him out the top. I believe that's what I remember. He knocks the jailer in, and then his friend crawls out the thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
And so we've done all this to get into this place, and then we climb up to the top of it, and we look, and they've all left to go to Skull Rock.
Is that where they're going?
Yeah, the big rock that's there's a big skull rock. There's a rock.
Isn't that where
King Kong lived?
Skull Island.
He lived on Skull Island, but there was a sort of skull rock there. And also in Peter Pan, there was a skull rock. But there's another skull rock.
There's a lot of skull rocks. I don't know. Maybe they're from ancient giant beings.
But it's kind of like, why don't they just do that here? Why do they got to go over to Skull Rock?
Well, you had money for another location. Let's go. Let's do it.
Skull Rock. They put the girl on the wheel. He puts on the mask, and I'm like, something's going to happen. No, nothing happens.
But it doesn't. So, okay. So they drain her blood, right? And they put it on the mask, and then the mask gets tentacles. It like comes alive.
Yeah.
And then it wraps around his face.
Yeah.
And then what? He doesn't get special powers.
Well, he's bringing the person back from the dead.
Sure, but I thought in the beginning they were like, the guy that wears the mask rules the world.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, you think so.
He doesn't change at all. He's not
impervious. He can't fight any better. He can't shoot bolts.
He just looks dumber. That's the only change that I see is now he looks like a moron. I don't get it.
Conan sneaks in, does your classic, knocks a guy out and puts on his robes or whatever, but we don't see that, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like the most classic thing of all things, You're watching Big Trouble in Little China. You always see them sneak up, you clobber, and then they're wearing the things, and they're like going like this so they can see.
Yeah,
you gotta
100%.
You gotta do those jokes. Those are your jokes. Even if they've already been done 1,000 times, you gotta do your jokes.
This movie's too serious for that, Dan. Okay.
And Conan's by himself.
All by himself. Where is the thief friend?
Oh, he left. He left after he got him in that one part.
He
He's
did
like,
leave. Okay.
He pieced out. Yeah, he totally pieced out.
I got you in, and now you're on your own. Okay, great.
Like, why don't you go with me the whole way, bro? No.
Well, because he'd be dead.
Okay, so then we have a giant fight, and there's an earthquake, and...
now, did the mask guy cause the earthquake? I thought maybe that was one of his powers. I don't know either. It's not very clear, and nor is that a good power when you're in a dungeon of some sort. That's a good way to get yourself killed.
See, in a movie like this makes you appreciate Aquaman.
The movie Aquaman?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Like, at least some of those fights, the octopus drumming, but at least they travel through a space interestingly. These ones are like, the wheel falls down, and then it lands in a place, and then everybody jumps down on the wheel, and they fight on the wheel, and then the wheel falls down again, and then the wheel's sort of turning. And then, as
wheels do.
And then they escape, and she runs away and is hiding, and then we got some nice girl-on-girl action.
It's not that good, though.
No, it's not good. I just wanted to say that,
I know. Here's okay. So here's what I will say about everyone in this movie.
What are you going to say about everyone in this movie?
Rose McGowan is the only one that I'm like, she's fucking trying. She's giving this her all. And it's she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
If she were in a different movie, I really like her a lot.
She was good villain. She was a good villain.
She was great. Her dad sucks. And everybody else kind of sucks. But so what I was going to say is she's walking down this hallway, cavern. I don't really know what it is. And the other girl's hiding. And her walk, she's doing this like slink thing. Yeah. And I was like, she's committing so hard to such a bad movie. And I just feel terrible about it.
That's nice.
It's great. I thought she was wonderful.
Good.
The lone bright spot of the movie.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the chemistry between Conan and the main lead girl?
I think you said about all you need to say, which is there isn't any. You know what we should do is we should quickly talk about the kiss, Dan.
What's her kiss?
The kiss that led to the sex. So there's a kiss first in a different location, then it cuts to them boning on a rock for some reason.
Rock bone.
The kiss was horrible.
Oh, was it?
It was so uncomfortable. I don't know whose fault it. Maybe it's both. Maybe they didn't like each other. I don't really know, but it's a bad kiss, and then it goes right into some really plain, mediocre sex, and the sex goes on way too long. It's like it's a 3-minute scene. Doesn't need to be that. It could just be like, we get it. Why are they having sex? I don't really know, other than like it makes him more manly. I honestly don't know.
Think about how sexual it was when he released the slave girls and they were topless and crawling all over the dudes.
Yeah, and
you're like, this is gonna be a party. This is gonna be a big old party.
They don't work. They don't work. I don't know. It's not her fault, right? Because she's green and she's awesome. So it's gotta be his fault.
I gotta tell you something. She's not green in this movie.
I think she was. Okay, when I remember it. No, I don't know. They have no chemistry. And again, it has to, I don't know, because he does have chemistry in Game of Thrones with Khaleesi. Like he's smoldering. There's like magnetism.
He smolders all over the place.
And it's both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
Like both of them, when they're together, you're just like, shit. Yeah, I get it. So it's got to be a combination where they just did not click because there is no magnet. There is nothing there.
She just wanders away into the forest to kind of get away from him.
I was so bored last night. I went to pick mushrooms. I don't
know. He cuts off the witch girl's arm.
Yeah, wild.
That's cool.
Really mean.
I think she throws her down. You know what?
Hold on. I want to say one thing real quick. During the girl on girl fight, there's a moment where Green Girl's on the bottom, right? And Claw Girl's on top. And Green Girl's holding the claw so it doesn't reach her face.
Yeah.
Those talons are so long. All she has to do is just cut the arm. Like, just stab the arm, she'll let go, and then you win. That's why I was like, she's not good with her own claws. You have extra long fingers. You can just dig them into her wrist, slice right here, and you've won the battle.
Should have scarred her up in the face too. That would have been good, right? Make the princess lose an eye. You know, she's gonna be down an eye.
Bink. Pop it right out, and it's on her talon. That'd be fun.
That might make her sexy. She's like one scarred up eye. They fight. Everything collapses.
Everything collapses, which is weird.
The princess girl is possessed, and she's like, let me go. And this is like a flashback to his dad. And we're like, oh, well, this is what we've been waiting for. And he does destroy the bridge.
I actually didn't get that.
Yeah, so then he does destroy the bridge. So he did learn the ice thing, sort of.
But not really. That's not ice.
But that's what his dad taught him on the ice, right? To cut into the ice so he'd lose his footing.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And if anyone really cared about that scene and we realized that scene meant everything, like sometimes you got to do this. If the dad had spelled it out, and then he was there and he knows that he can't win, and dad says, use the power of ice, you dumb fucking kid. He did it right there. You'd have been like, oh, well, there it is.
Sure. Unlike in Batman Begins when they use the ice and then, it all ties in later in the movie.
Does it?
Which is great. Yeah, it's all about footing and whatnot. Yeah.
Watch a Batman movie and steal that shit.
Yeah, I don't know when Batman Begins came out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anywho. Yeah, he cuts the bridge and he falls, and then the girl's just magically fine.
Yeah, and then they just leave, and they take a horse, and then she thanks him for bringing him home, and she's like, later, dude. So right? Conan just says later, dude. Yeah. Wait, hold on. He just leaves the girl.
He drops her off. She says, thanks for bringing me home. And he just is like, cool, take care. See you later. And then just leaves her. What is happening? That is the weirdest end to like a romantic storyline. Why did they have sex, Dan? Why did they form a bond, quote unquote?
He probably put a baby Conan in her.
Is that going to be the sequel? Baby, he's going to come back, cut her open, and then show her the baby as she dies. And he'll be like, just like when I was born, and then Lion King it.
Is that the end of the movie?
When he rides away?
Yeah.
No, he rides away to the place where his dad was or something.
Oh, he's going to make another sword or something.
Yeah, something
He finds
stupid.
the mold to the sword, and it's like something.
Yeah. And then he has like a flashback of fire and ice, and he's like, because the voiceover is like, you're not ready for the sword until you learn fire and ice or something like that, and it's supposed to say that he learned whatever he learned, but I don't think he learned it.
I don't think he learned it.
I'm just gonna say
it didn't seem like it enough. They didn't,
I didn't learn it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
He must not have learned it because I didn't learn it, and I have no idea what he learned. I'm so excited to tell you what we're watching next week. I'm very excited. It's not gonna be as fun as I'm making it seem, but I'm excited.
I didn't even remember you were excited about it.
That really hurts my feelings, Dan.
Tony. So yeah, this was, and that was the thing. I do need to rewatch the original Conan, and I bet you when you watch that, you listen to the music, and it's like, it's rousing. Conan the Barbarian. This kind of music should be very easy to get someone to do, right?
Sure. I mean, I don't make music, but I would imagine people that do could do it.
You could say it's epic fantasy. Was there epic fantasy music in this movie?
There wasn't anything epic fantasy about this movie.
There it is.
Except for the witch, maybe.
Yeah. You got a lot of great witches out there.
Whatever. Lot of great witches.
Tony, what did you watch this week? Something you like?
I'm doing this out of solidarity.
What's happening?
Suits LA came out.
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Premiered last Sunday.
So this is the first time you didn't talk about. We just talked about that you were expecting it to be terrible.
Right, and I was right.
I was right.
I've watched it 3 times now.
What, the first episode?
The first episode, yeah. And then I'm going to watch it again before episode 2 tomorrow. It is so messy, Dan. So just as a backstory, right? The original Suits blew up over the pandemic. Right.
So wait, Suits was the one where the dude comes in there and gets the job and wasn't really looking for the job, and he's got some magical power, right?
He's not a magical power.
Whatever, but
he has what is it, eidetic memory or whatever it is.
He wasn't looking for this job. He falls into this job.
Yeah. So he's not a lawyer. He got kicked out of school before he go to law school, so he does know some law, but whatever. He's not a lawyer. He goes into a meeting on accident because he's running from the cops because he's a drug dealer, and he impresses the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, shit, we're just going to hire you because I love to skirt the law. And then it's 9 seasons, it's like 7 seasons about that storyline of like they're hiding that he's not a real lawyer, and they're always going to get caught, but they're still solving, finishing. It's great. It's a wonderful show.
It's this nice. It's a nice setup with a little bit of an absurd premise.
Yeah.
But they stick to the premise. They pay it off 100%. Continuously. They know what they're doing. Okay.
It's right in line with all the USA shows where they do like almost a normal show, and then they throw that one weird thing in. Like this one is he's not a real lawyer, but he's got eidetic memory, so he's very good at the law. Psych is he's a fake psychic, so it's like it's a crime procedural, but there's a twist, right?
Yeah.
So as the show goes on, it becomes less and less about that in the last couple of seasons.
Sure, right? Because you've hit that drum so many times.
You've exhausted it, and spoilers. If you want to watch Suits and you haven't watched it, time out for like 30 seconds. The guy Mike is the lawyer with the memory. He leaves the show.
Oh, okay.
So it's no longer the last 2 seasons or something is about something completely different. It's all legal drama. Nobody likes the last 2 seasons. Everybody hates them. They're poorly rated compared to the rest of the show. Everyone's like they're the worst seasons on the show. Sure. Suits LA is written in the vein of the last 2 seasons, which is just high drama, legal drama. There's no fun. Like Suits seasons 1 through 5 are all but like witty banter and like fun. There is zero fun. We get thrown into this weird world where there's the firm is splitting up and his best friend is abandoning it, but we don't know anything about these characters, Dan.
Yeah, sure.
So you're thrown into all this drama and you're like, I don't give a shit. What's happening right now? And it's so bad, but I do love Stephen Amell. He's doing great. People please watch it because I know it'll get better. And I just want I need him to have a hit,
Oh, poor Stephen
Heels was
Amell.
such a good show, but nobody watched it because it's about wrestling.
Ugh.
But it was a great show. I just want it to get better. All the reviews are like the third episode gets better.
Okay,
so if you can make it a month,
hold on.
I feel like we could do it, guys. So just watch it. Even if you turn it on and then leave, just watch it. Let's get some viewerships. Let's get it up. Get those numbers up. Sorry, that was longer than normal. What do you got, Dan?
New movie on Netflix, which is actually a movie from a year or two ago called To Catch a Killer.
Okay.
Shailene Woodley.
Oh, sure.
Ben Mendelsohn. I love Ben Mendelsohn.
God, I love Ben Mendelsohn.
I will watch him in anything at any time because he is acting personified.
Okay.
This one's interesting because on the Rotten Tomato, people are either like, "Yeah, this was really good," or people are like, "This one's so terrible, I wanted to kill myself," because they do some there's some dark things in the show.
Oh, okay.
Not super dark, but just like they make some choices that you're like, whoa. And the guy that did it's like he's foreign. He's like some like Argentinian director or something, and but it was just you watch it and you're just like the compositions are beautiful.
Sure.
And it just feels like an expensive movie. Whatever else you want to say about it. You watch this. You watch Conan and you're just like, yeah, they've poured a lot of money down a drain.
Yeah, they sure did.
But it doesn't feel like that money was well spent. This movie, you're like, they spent the money well. And if I was if I wrote something and somebody was directing it, I would want it to look like this and make it feel like a movie. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, try to remember to remind me to watch this when the new season of Stranger Things comes out, because that's when we're going to renew Netflix. So just remind me in a few months.
$7 a month. $7.
We were paying $19.99 because we're doing like the high level of it.
Look at you,
nonsense,
Mr.
absolute nonsense.
Tony, you have some spectacular movie that's going to
it's not spectacular.
Change the show. It's going to be
but it made me laugh. So I'm watching Conan the Barbarian, right? And I'm like, man, this reminds me of a movie that's been on my list for a really, really long time.
All right.
And then I looked up my movie that's been on the list for a really, really long time. And it turns out it's the same director. And he made the movie.
You've got to be kidding me. I did not do any research on this guy, so I have no idea who he is.
So there's a movie he did 4 years earlier, which was these were technically back to back for him.
This was the movie that got him Conan?
Well, I mean, probably, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And it's just, I think it's worse. Based on Rotten Tomatoes, this one only has 8%. So it's just a little bit worse. But the good news is it's got Carl Urban, who I love.
We love Carl. We love Carl desperately.
And this is based off a video game. It's called Pathfinder. Now, I rewatched the trailer, Dan, and it seems like it's almost the same movie.
As what? As Conan?
As Conan the Barbarian. The storyline seems very similar. The monsters seem very similar. I think it might be almost identical. But it came out first, 4 years before, and it had half the budget. So I'm excited. I just want to do a compare and contrast.
Let's see how well he used that money. Let's see what he does on a budget.
There you go. Let's see if he learned any lessons. Like, how bad can Pathfinder be that Conan was a step up?
I've never heard of this movie, so I'm very excited.
I remember seeing it, the trailer, not the movie, because I love Carl Urban, and I just never. What was that? It never looked good.
Doom. Doom was the movie we did with him.
Sure, yeah, Doom, yeah.
He was great.
Right.
He's like,
well, he's an actor.
He's an actor. It always helps when you get like a real actor to come in there.
Yeah. So I'm hoping this will be a little. No offense to Jason Momoa, but someone that can actually deliver a line. Wow, maybe it'll be better.
Jason can do a certain thing, and if you have the right director to get him to do that certain thing, he could be very enjoyable. I think.
Yeah, 100%. And what he did in the newest Fast movie, Fast and Furious, great. When he's
I still haven't seen that one. I got to watch that one.
Great
because I want to see him.
He's the only good part of that movie, to be honest with you.
He looks great.
He's wonderful. He's having the time of his life,
and that's what you want to see Jason Momoa doing.
Amen.
And he was having fun in this, but it just never felt like, I don't know, it never really worked out.
The movie wasn't fun, so even if he was having fun, they probably kept being like, less fun. Bring it down. Let's bring it down a notch.
We lost Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And there was a thing where I think it was Ben Stiller was directing him in something, and Ben loved the Poseidon Adventure. Have you ever seen the Poseidon Adventure?
I have not seen the original.
You've seen this other one.
Yeah.
So you got the idea. He's the titular hero, and he's like, he wanted to tell Gene how much he loved him in that, and Gene's a thorny guy. Oh no, it was in Tannenbaums. They were in Royal Tannenbaums together. So eventually, like 2 days to go, he like goes over to Gene. He's like, Gene, this was a seminal movie in my, and this is what Gene Hackman says: money job. There it is. There's Gene Hackman.
I love that.
He's gonna tell you what it is. He's still gonna bring 100% Gene Hackman to everything he does.
As you should.
Money job.
Yeah.
And Gene would do those. It's like you look back on Superman where he was playing Lex Luthor. You're like, I can't imagine that was his dream.
Yeah. No. But here's the thing. Like, that's the dream, right? That's the ultimate dream, to get to a position in the acting career where you can do jobs just for millions. Just be like, I'll do one for you, one for me. You know what I mean? So, we should be so lucky.
And with movies, you never know. You never know how bad it's going to be or how good
Absolutely.
It can be. You never know.
Rose McGowan gave 120% to this movie, and it was bad.
You just got to try. Okay, so we'll be back next week talking about Pathfinder. If you like what we do, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, or subscribe. And then you can get alerted by YouTube hundreds of times about our new content.
Which is what everybody wants, just more notifications.
See you later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!